ready to start for today?
Take it away.
Are we live?
Yes.
You can see my face?
Take it away.
Okay, good morning everybody. Welcome to the Olympian Table. Today is October the 18th, 2023. We'd like to welcome you to the show. We've got one of the Texas Lone ladies this morning, Miss Laura. Hey, Miss Laura, how are you doing today?
Good morning. Doing good.
You had a good week. You've been working very hard. You've had a buyer seminar.
Yeah, buyer seminar. That went well. Closings this week. That's awesome.
So there you go. You're in business.
So we're rocking and rolling.
I know it's difficult at the moment, but it is what it is, and you've got to work with it and make the best of it that you can.
Yep.
So first of all, we're going to talk about Barbara Corcoran.
My favorite shark.
Is she your favorite shark? Why is she
Yeah.
your favorite shark?
I don't know. I think she has like a lot of great ideas, and everything. Every move that she makes is very strategic. Some of the other ones are very, I don't know.
She's also the most successful one too.
Is she?
Yeah, because
I thought it was Mr. Wonderful,
No,
the one
Cuban.
that was the most successful.
I thought Cuban was the.
because she invested in Scrub Daddy, and with Scrub Daddy, that it made her so much money.
That is true.
And because now they have Scrub Mommy.
Do you
now
have
they
a scrub daddy at home?
Exactly.
I do.
Yeah. So she is the richest out of all of the sharks.
I didn't know she was the richest, but
Yeah.
like she just has that. If it makes sense, she supports
Mark
them.
Cuban is the most successful shark.
What do you mean?
I've
She
just
made
got
the
it.
most money.
I've just got it here. The most successful shark on Shark Tank depends on how you define success. If you define success by the amount of money a shark has made from their investments, then Mark Cuban is the most successful shark.
Okay.
He made his fortune selling his video portal company, broadcast.com, to Yahoo for $5.7 billion.
Jesus. Okay.
However, if you define success by the amount of money a shark's investment has made, then Lori Greiner is the most successful shark. Two of the most
I forgot about
successful
Lori.
products on Shark Tank, Bombas and Scrub Daddy,
Oh, I'm
were
getting
Greiner's
wrong
investments.
names. Okay.
making her the most successful shark investor.
I knew it was the lady, but I didn't
So
know
it's
that
Lori,
her name was, her name is
not
Lori.
Barbara.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
is that
Barbara.
the same person as?
That's
No.
what I thought it was.
Okay.
It's a different
That's what-
person.
Yeah, that's who I thought it was.
Okay.
But yeah.
Because with the research I've done, I've already seen, Mark Cuban now of course owns, is it the Mavericks or something? I think
San
that-
Antonio,
No,
basketball
Dallas.
team? Dallas.
The Dallas Mavericks. Yeah. So anyway, Barbara Corcoran is basically insists that now is the very best time to buy a house despite the interest rates hitting the 23-year high. And basically Shark Tank, so Barbara Corcoran says, has some bad news. Interest rates are never going to be as low as they were during the pandemic again, but she's got some good news too. The current rates hiked to a nearly 23-year high by the Federal Reserve, making now the ideal time to enter the housing market. The New York mogul cut her teeth in property, bouncing back from the brink time and again to build her business. The Corcoran Group into the behemoth she sold for $66 million. So she sold real estate business in 2001 for $66 million. The Corcoran fierce advocate and taking risk. Well, I know that when I watch Shark Tank, she does take a lot of risk in my opinion to some of the others. Interest rates just hit a 23-year high. What's that going to do to push more buyers into the sideline? I know in our area the market hasn't really slowed down. I think there's more rentals that are coming through. I would have said, what would you say the median price is in the Houston market for a home? 300,000?
I would say 300, 325.
Right, that's sort of where I see it, to be perfectly honest. It used to be around 250, 260 around there, but for a home, I think it's it's gone up in the Houston area. But no, I think it's interesting to see. When I bought my house, and I keep saying this most weeks actually, when I bought my first house in America in 1997, I paid an 18.9% interest rate. So,
I mean, we do hope to see a break on interest rates, but do we want another pandemic? No. So
No, we
we're
don't.
never going to get them as low, hopefully.
but the other thing I just want to bring up though as well.
Those were the golden years of the interest rates, and it goes in history.
Yeah, it will, and I think that's what led to parts of the housing problem when the interest rates came down. That's when people seen their opportunity when they've got equity in property. Well, I'll lease my property out and I'll go buy another property.
Mm-hmm.
It's a low interest rate, and now that's added to the shortage of houses in the housing market. I was one of them that did that. So, and the other thing I just want to mention to you is, everybody says about inflation in America. But I was talking, to Laura this morning, and to be perfectly honest, inflation in America is not as high as inflation is worldwide. And you were saying what, in Africa it was 18%?
Yeah, I put up an article, something that I saw that, in 2022, they were doing this average rates in Africa. And and the reason why I brought this was because, I'm working on a foreign national loan and in Nigeria, and, which is, they're at a 10% interest rate. So, and depending where, interest rates are higher. I mean, they're as high as 26%, 50% in some. So, are we doing that bad? I don't think so.
I was talking to somebody yesterday about gas prices.
And that's what down payment's high, like 30% down payment,
Right.
So.
Well, I was talking to somebody yesterday about I think it's a flaw over in America because we're not moving over to electric cars quick enough. Because what's going to happen is, as gas gets more sought after on a worldwide commodity, then I think we could be held to a bit like a gunpoint, because we need the oil to drive our cars and to drive different things. A bit like the poor Palestinians at the moment. I mean, they've got no oil, they've got no, they've got no water. And then basically, if we've got electric cars, because in Europe, a lot of countries are not accepting gasoline cars after 2025. All the new cars will be electric cars. So that's why you're seeing Audi, Lexus.
Yeah.
There's more electric cars, and my worry is, because America can be a very, very stubborn country, we could be in a position where we're locked out of exporting cars because we're not really up on it.
Well,
But it makes me sad because I do want to drive a classic car.
No, but you'll still be able to drive a classic car, you with me? But it's going to be more expensive for you to drive because the cost of gas is ultimately going to go up.
Yeah.
It's like supply and demand.
Going
If there's,
up, so. Yeah, I hear you.
And I think that's, if you like, just next door to here, in the office, they just built a brand new Tesla collision center. I mean, it's huge.
You'll just use the self-driving cars.
I mean, you know what?
Okay, let's talk
like for
self-driving.
now, you can't do road trips on these electric cars because you can't go down the desert because there's no connection. So that's sad.
Well, you can, because there is a connection. There is a network.
A generator in the back of their Tesla.
No.
Yeah,
There is
portable chargers.
There is an electrical network. The problem is with some of the networks is they're not compatible with one another.
You gotta
So there's a new car on the market now called a Polestar. The Polestar hasn't got the same plug as a Tesla. So you can go to different charging stations. Now there are some gas stations that are now putting in electrical chargers.
Right.
But one of the reasons as well, I think it's beneficial for the gas stations to put electrical chargers in. Do you know why? Because while it's charging, what do the people got to do? Go into the convenience store, have something to eat, get a coffee, buy some stuff?
A long time ago.
Because I'm going to tell you my my daughter, like, they have a Tesla, and depending where they're going, and they kind of like, you know, do the itinerary and everything, and if there's a charger, then they take the Tesla. If there's no charger, they take the other vehicle. So it's not as beneficial yet, because they do a lot of traveling and road trips and all kinds of stuff. So,
but I think a lot of it depends where you're going. I'll be honest with you, because there are charging stations over the country. They have got.
I think if you stay in the major cities,
you're good to go.
you're good.
You have to go, like, if you want to go on a road trip, Laura, you just have to find like a creepy farmer.
But my
Plug up to his
Chainsaw.
my wife feels exactly the same way as you, Laura. Just so you know, if we're on a road trip, we're going on a road trip because my daughter's graduating from university for an international business degree, and in December she's graduating early. And we're only going to San Antonio, but she says we're going in a gas car.
She's like,
I haven't got an electric car anyway, so I told her that ain't a problem. But
Yeah, I'm telling you, because, well, these kids love going hiking and adventures out in the wilderness. So are there any electric chargers around the state parks?
Right.
Most likely not.
No, but I think
So-
that's part of the problem. They've got to build an infrastructure, and I think
Yes, I don't think we
that's
have
part
that
of it.
yet.
No, we don't.
Mm-hmm.
We don't. Now in Europe, they do.
They do.
One of the big questions I've always had is with the electric cars is, we have a lot of people in America that live in apartments.
That's true.
So you've got people that live, maybe they've got a carport.
Mm-hmm.
You think of the electric connections that you've got to have to connect each of them carports, and what's to stop somebody taking the electrical connection from your car and plugging it into theirs on another carport? Do you see the problem?
Mm-hmm.
You could be paying for somebody else's.
Yikes.
That's what I'm saying.
Go to Buc-ee's and charge your car.
They're like
I wouldn't
What,
mind
in
doing that if I've got time,
2021?
because Buc-ee's has got somewhere to eat,
Yeah. Well, if you live close by,
And plus,
like
I know where
do.
you want to go to Buc-ee's, because you want to get, videoed.
I'm out in the
It's
country,
fine.
so Buc-ee's it's out by me, so that's why Buc-ee's is my preference.
But no, what people say about inflation, I think, is it's valid, but it's really not as bad as what people are trying to
other
make it.
in the world.
In Europe, I think
We're still blessed
In
here.
Europe, I think it's running between 10 and 13%.
Right, even Europe, they're a bit higher
The
than
UK
us.
is in a mess at the moment.
Mhm.
Some cities are declaring bankruptcy, which basically means they are trimming down their essential services.
oh, that's a video I wanted to show you.
So,
Do we want to see
the
something
electric-
related to Texas?
let's talk about the state fair.
electric car. Okay, I thought we were going to talk about the self-driving cars that are.
Oh yeah, let's do that. We're going to talk about the self-driving cars. How do you feel about driving along the street and you see a self-driving car?
If I don't trust my 13-year-old to drive a car, I wouldn't trust a self-driving car.
Well, this is what
It's just me.
my feeling is on the whole thing. If I'm driving along and you've got a self-driving car to the left, how do you know what people are doing in the back of that? They could be doing the wild things. I mean, they could be sticking their butt out the window. They could be just smoking dope. Do you understand? I mean, there's so many extreme things with the wild things that go on and what they could be doing in the back of that car.
I'm more concerned about the safety. Like, do I want a self-driving car on the road? Nope.
Because even now, Stephen, even with the office, right? Whenever I try to Uber to the office, it always takes us to the back. Like, the map always brings you to the back of the office because the map cannot read the little partition or whatever in the middle of the street.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like one of those things where it's like it can't read construction. You know, it's like, I don't know. We just don't have the technology.
So I have a new vehicle, right? And the vehicle, it's like I always turn on the safety features are always on, you know, surrounding the car. Everything is on, all the safety features. So, because we have crazy drivers and I have to drive into the city, you know, just about every day. So, the point is that with that those safety features, sometimes, for example, if there used to be a white line there and it wasn't quite erased or quite washed out or whatever, the car brakes.
Yeah,
it's like
slow down, right?
And then the car behind me is like, whoa.
You're like,
So,
I'm sorry.
like, as a driver, I have to have, you know, be mindful you know, if there was construction there, like for example, when I went to Brazoria, right, I have to be mindful that there's a lot of repainted lanes, and I have to keep putting the blinkers. So there's a break.
Especially with the amount of road improvements that have been made recently.
So how safe is that really?
Because of the infrastructure bill, we're having so many roads that are being updated at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know how they can keep that up. But you know what really worries me about self-driving cars?
What?
Is with some Tesla drivers, all right, they don't really bother and look around, what's around with them. They don't drive the car. They're doing. I've seen some Tesla drivers put in this self-drive mode.
Yeah.
And they're just doing other things. And sometimes it's ended up that they've cut me up. You know, they've just pulled across.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if we're actually ready for self-driving cars.
I mean, with the amount of construction we have, like in this city, I don't think we're quite ready, you know, or we'll ever be ready. But I guess this car has to get smarter.
This is a rideshare service that they're doing now. So this, what I'm showing you.
Where is that at?
Here.
Ooh. I mean, maybe like hop on it if you're gonna go a mile, maybe 2 miles, maybe 5 miles around.
Yeah, like if it's downtown, if you have to go like places downtown, but
yeah,
I wouldn't go from downtown
to the Galleria.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Maybe downtown to the medical center because it's a straight shot. But again, there's a lot of construction there, so.
Also, it seems like it would be more expensive to get a self-driving car than to just get a regular Uber driver, to be honest.
You know what? Maybe I should go downtown this weekend and try one of those.
It's called Cruise. So
scare the heebie-jeebies out of me, but try it and take a video.
The whole time we're just gonna be screaming. No! I'm scared! Steven, you were right! That is so crazy. Yeah, I'm not getting into this thing.
I mean, hey, I might test drive it. You never know.
How can you test drive a self-driving
Not test
car?
drive it, but rent the darn self-driving thing. Robo car.
I was going to say, that's interesting to test drive a self-driving car.
I was looking at cars because you guys know I don't drive.
Would you just go to downtown and hop on one of those just to see how it works?
Because I enjoy driving. I physically.
But wouldn't you be interested in like see how it works?
No.
No? I thought you're all for electric cars.
Electric and self-driving is different.
That's the ultimate electric.
All right, all my money goes into real estate, okay? And I made a decision as soon as I turned, 63. I'm not buying no more cars. If not, I would buy a Tesla. All right, I ordered a white Tesla at one point, but then they pulled a fast one on the financing, and I said, forget it. It increased the price like $300 a month. So I said, forget it. That was my favourite bank, Wells Fargo. And basically, I decided.
I was gonna say, isn't that not your favorite bank? Why would you go there?
Because I didn't have a choice. That's who Tesla do all their financing with for their cars.
Really?
Yes.
This is the car that I want to get, guys.
Oh my God.
It's a Japanese car.
How much is it?
$4,000.
Shut up.
I've seen a video once
They're
of this
so
guy
small.
who bought a small car from China,
Yeah.
and it was nothing but a piece of shit.
Yeah, it's a
It
golf
came
cart.
here and it was like shaking, and it wasn't.
It'll probably
He
blow
bought
away.
it from Alibaba, the website.
Maybe you can
Alibaba.
drive
This is the
around the
website.
golf course by your place and that's it.
Just do that. But no, this is.
Is it electric?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
it's electric. It's supposed to be able to fit 4 people
But
in
there's,
there.
but do you know that they reckon the highest number of electric vehicles is China,
Yeah, because they're this big though. They're so
and then
small.
also Vietnam now. There's a guy over there that's building cars. He's started his own electric company, like a Vietnamese Elon Musk. Because my
we gotta
wife's
go over there.
Vietnamese, she looks at his videos all the time.
We gotta get in that, you know. But Laura, we were talking about what the hotel. I didn't know.
Yeah, let's talk about
I
that.
thought you knew. I'm so sorry.
No,
Please accept my apology.
All right, everybody. There's a hotel, a well-known hotel in Houston, that has a pool that is Texas-shaped, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
See, I didn't know. And I've been here
The
20
pool.
years.
Cool.
It's
What's
the
the name
Marriott
of-
downtown
The
next
Marriott
to the
downtown.
Toyota Center, which is our basketball stadium. It's right in the corridor where Minute Maid is at as well. Anyways, the point is there
It doesn't
is
look
a
like it doesn't.
pool
It's
with
not
the
a.
Texas
It's not a
suffix.
full pool.
It
And
is
there's
a-
I mean, it's probably.
It's
huge.
like one of them.
It's like a lazy river.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely.
They have a regular pool next to it, so that's cool. But did you know that hotels have day passes for the pool?
No, I didn't.
Yes, this one does.
Yeah. So you spend like $10 or $20, and you just go to the pool and lounge around and stuff like that. You know.
I didn't know that. Does it include free drinks for the day?
No.
Maybe you have to get a wristband or
I don't
something.
know. It depends. I would fib and just be like, oh my gosh, I forgot my pass. Can somebody let me in, please? Pool.
Now you're giving away you being a crook, a pure crook.
What's another person in their swimming pool? They're not gonna know. I watched a video. I think we should try it, see what we can do. And the guy went to the most expensive country in the world. I can't remember the name of it, but where everything was super expensive, and to try to get everything free, right? So he went to the hotel, you know, dressed nicely.
Is it France?
No, it was probably in France. What?
Monaco.
Yes, it is Monaco. Yes, most expensive country in the world, and he went there to just essentially just try to like see what he could get for free, and he got on a yacht for free, but then he got kicked out because they were like no. And then he went to the hotel and he was like, where's the restaurant? Because any hotel restaurant is anybody can go in. And then he just got into the pool because it was open, and because they don't think that people are gonna sneak into their pool, you know.
Yeah, Monaco has apparently the most number of millionaires. All the Formula One drivers have homes there.
Really?
In Monaco, yeah.
Formula One drivers make enough money to get houses in
Oh,
Monaco?
yes.
Well, there are 13 cities that are the most.
But Monaco is
The most expensive city
And
is
it's
Singapore
Of
in
course.
2023,
Yeah.
and it was Singapore was the 5th in 2022, and it had the 9th place in 2021. So it's gone up, and then followed by Shanghai, Hong Kong, London, New York, then Monaco,
So Monaco's
Dubai. I don't know how to pronounce this one. Taiwanese.
You know, with Monaco.
The capital of Taiwanese, São Paulo,
With Monaco, what sort of.
Miami.
With Monaco, what sort of slips me is apparently there's a lot of casinos in Monaco.
Really?
Have you guys seen the Marina Bay in Singapore? This is why it's so. It costs $500
it's
a
pretty.
night to get a hotel in Singapore. In the
How much?
$500 a night for like a standard hotel, not even a luxury one. And this is a swimming pool and a bridge, and
I had the option when I flew to Australia to work over there for a time to have a stay over in Singapore, and I turned it down so I could have an extra night in Hong Kong. Hong Kong was very educational.
Did you like Hong Kong?
Yes, I did.
What'd you like about it? What was special?
Chinatown.
Chinatown?
Chinatown in China.
Hong Kong has Chinatown.
In Hong Kong as a Chinatown, yeah.
Was it Hong Kong?
But it was British rule then.
Okay, because
It
I was
was
so
British rule.
confused. I was like,
I'm like,
And
isn't
it
that
was like-
this sounds
Japanese?
very racist, but like, is it all of Hong Kong Chinatown? Because it's Chinese.
No, it's not. You see,
It's
not.
Japanese.
It's not. They refuse to be.
I know they don't like to be associated.
They don't
with
like.
China
There's a
No.
group of them that don't like to be associated with,
because of the
with China because of the controlling issue.
yeah.
I have a friend, she's Japanese, and do not mention Chinese.
Well, there's always been rivalry
Yeah,
between
Japanese.
Japan and China.
And South
Over-
Koreans hate Japanese.
Over hundreds.
Yes, South
Over
Koreans
hundreds
too.
of years, there's been a big, problem between Japan and China.
I can't
You were saying South Koreans?
South Koreans hate Japanese people, but because of the war. So, Japan used to essentially own South Korea, and there's like a whole thing. I don't know.
Wow.
They really.
I think it's
like a lot of animosity.
it's a like educational thing because not everybody
Do
that
you know
we
what?
see,
I can honestly-
it's just maybe they're Asian, but they're not really all Chinese, right? They're all from Thailand and
But you know, I
Vietnam.
can't understand. I just can't see
all
the
these other
point.
countries.
Even with the Israeli-Palestinian thing, I can't see the point in just hating everybody for the rest of your life. I just,
You just
don't
gotta
get it.
love
I understand
people.
the Israeli situation,
Yeah.
but I understand the Palestinian situation when they're being bombed. And there was an incident last night with a hospital, and they don't know who blew that up, but somebody blew it up. Anyway. Moving on.
Talking about disasters, there was a disaster that happened here in the state fair.
It wasn't a disaster.
It is a disaster because it's
It
so
was.
close to home.
It's
Crazy.
just somebody.
Yeah, that dude's just a jerk.
I don't call it a disaster. I call it murder. Where there was a shooting at our state fair.
And that's horrible because there's children. That could have been very bad because there's a lot of children in that that go to that event. It's a family event. And you have all ages, so.
But basically, they've identified the shooter, which is good.
Yep. I think they got him immediately. They got him
Really?
that day.
Yeah, they closed. It happened on Saturday night, I believe.
Mhm.
And they closed the state fair early on Saturday, and they didn't open it late till Sunday 1:45. But apparently a man shot at another man Saturday night, injuring 3 people. The victims, 2 adult males and 1 adult female, are also expected to recover. At least 1 appears to have been an innocent bystander. Dallas police identified the prospect as 22-year-old Cameron Turner. He ran from the scene after the shooting, but officers quickly located him and took him into custody. A gun was also recovered. Turner is now charged with aggravated assault. Shouldn't that be attempted murder?
I'm saying that's crazy, especially with.
The shooting happened around 8 p.m. in the Tower Building, which is a food court.
But does it even say why it happened? Like, was he being, like, harassed that he did that, or?
They got into an argument.
Do you think
Oh,
the-
so it was like a conflict that happened at the fair. Okay.
But this is the video that I wanted to show you guys from the top. This is what I was talking about.
Oh, this is a guy that was on top of the Ferris wheel.
Yeah. This is the worst thing that you can see.
I mean, can you imagine being stuck at the top of a Ferris wheel and seeing this chaos going on underneath you? I mean,
That's
from one
horrible.
point, at least you're safe,
That's
Yeah.
horrible.
because the chances of him shooting you, you better be a good shot if he's going to shoot you.
Well, less likely to get hurt if you're that up high.
I'm just worried about it getting stuck on the Ferris wheel because it's still going. So the operator.
Oh, it was still going?
Yeah. If you look, if you watch it, it's still going very slowly, but you can see that there's still, like, it's still moving.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, it's still moving.
they didn't stop.
Did the operator just left it running and he took off?
Yeah,
To cover?
He'd done a runner. He was out of here.
Yeah, so that's what I'm like. It's
I'm
great
not
'cause
losing
you're
my
sitting-
life for any state fair.
Like, it's great.
Which makes sense, but
That sucks. I'd be so scared. Because you don't know when he's coming back. You have to call the police and say, hey, we're on the Ferris wheel. And you're just
we're on
still
bucket
spinning.
pink.
And
The blue
Imagine
glittery
calling
bucket.
911. What is your service? Police. Okay, how can we help you? I'm stuck on a Ferris wheel at the state fair.
I know there's a shooting
Imagine-
going on, but can you get me down, please?
Imagine if you're out of state and they're like, well, what? Where are you exactly? That'd be horrible.
So,
But
I just thought that was, I mean, it's very sad that it happened, but it's so funny because the person, you just see all these people dispersing and just leaving. You're just stuck. So, I would try. But, I just I cannot believe that. And someone said it, recently, that everyone now is just so on edge. Everybody is just so ready to, like, tussle, or we live in Texas, so they're ready to shoot, and literally any little thing that happens, people are just ready to just fight. And I don't know what the problem is, but it's just.
I do. There's too many guns in Texas. I mean, that's the truth of the matter.
But what about, like, Karens? They're just so angry too.
Did I ever tell you how many deaths there were in the UK last year by shooting?
You guys aren't allowed to have guns, right?
8.
Yeah, you guys aren't even allowed to have guns.
Well, the
But what
police
about
are.
the machetes? Remember? Do you remember in 2021 or 2022 when there was a thing where they put a bunch of garbage cans and they were like, put your knives in here, because there were so many, like, machete accidents or people, because that's what they do. They stab
What?
in the UK because they're not allowed to have guns. So they said, drop your knives here, and it was the most ridiculous.
recycle.
Let's see.
That is insane.
Do you know how many shootings you have in
But
America?
are there? No, it's tragic.
Had to have been
There's
at least
too many shootings.
5,000 shootings.
It's disturbing, the number of shootings.
I'm gonna say
and then
5,000.
it gets.
In the UK, there's 46,265 offences. The number of knife crimes in England and Wales has risen to a new record high.
Yeah.
Says the Office of National Statistics, there are 46,000 in the last 12 months at the end of March this year, up 6%.
Yeah, it's really bad.
And I'm not picking anything, but I think a lot of that is ethnic, because there are different ethnicities that.
I don't know. I think either way, whether it be, you could say the same thing about shootings, but that's not really the case, because when you think about it,
No,
most
but I
mass
think
shooters
the
here-
problem. I think it's the. I forget what they call them now over here. They call them the. What do they call it? Ghost guns. Ghost guns are a big problem over here.
Can you define ghost
Yeah, I don't
guns?
know what you're
It's
talking
when you've got a gun and the serial number's been rubbed off,
Oh, okay.
so you don't know.
An illegal weapon.
And somebody stole a gun out of my car.
Did you report it to the police?
I didn't know it was stolen.
Did
He
you
was
report it
under
when
the
you
seat.
found
Well,
out?
let me finish and I'll explain the situation.
I'm worried about you.
But basically what happened was I got a call from the local sheriff and said, Mr. Williams, do you have a Glock 19? And I said, yes. And he said, do you have it in your possession? And I said, yes. And he says, well, can you
You
go?
didn't check?
Just let me finish. Let me
I would have
finish.
said, "Oh my God, let me go check." That would have been me.
No, okay, let me finish. And he turned around and says, well, what I want you to do, he says, here's my number. I want to go check where you had it last. And then what I want you to do, you need to call me back. And I went back, and I went to my Suburban, which I don't drive a lot. The gun was in there, and what I found out was there's a lock on my Suburban. The lock had been forced open, so sometimes somebody got in my car, unlocked the lockbox, took out the Glock, alright, and I didn't know nothing about it. And then I called him back and I said, well, I've got something to tell you. I don't have the Glock. And he said, well, I'm going to send you a report. Can you fill it in roughly when you had it last? And apparently that gun was used in a hold-up on a Western Union money store to get cash, and apparently somebody was killed with that gun.
Oh, sorry to
You
hear
said
that.
Western Union. I was gonna say.
I would have been freaked out as soon as I got the call from the cops. I'd be like, "What? Run! Let me see."
If you don't know, you don't know. But I think I've always said to everybody, you've got to be honest about it. If you make a mistake,
Yeah.
I made a mistake. You know, you've got to be honest about the situation, and you've got to live with your circumstances.
Did they tell you that you had to check how periodically you had to check when you had a gun in the
No,
vehicle?
but the part that really upset me was they said they give me a police report number, and they said, well, we need to keep the gun as evidence. When the evidence is complete, when the case is complete, then you can have your gun back. They never let me know when I could have my gun back, and I still haven't got the gun back today, and this was like 10 years ago.
Oh wow.
So I had to go out and buy a new gun.
Stayed for evidence.
Someone
That's
gave
insane.
me a gun once. It's a Brazilian police gun.
Do you know the worst gun I've ever had? It's like a little Chinese Ruger, and it was made in China. What a piece of crap that was. It was made so cheaply. It was my first one I bought. Bought it from like a local pawn shop. Terrible. In all fairness, all the American guns I think are quality. I think Glocks are quality. I like Smith & Wesson.
If there's anything,
This man walked out of a
so
restaurant.
Sorry, I'm literally
Was
just
done-
trying to.
As he didn't finish his meal.
There's a shortage of bathrooms in the UK, but there's not a shortage. People keep getting drunk at the pubs, right? Because there's so many pubs in the UK, and they can't go find bathrooms, so they keep peeing on the side of the buildings, and so they have the bathrooms that come up from the ground. I guess like the public restrooms, they pop up from the ground. And
I've never seen one of them.
I think it's probably happened after you moved, but they come up
Well,
from.
no, I was there like 2 years ago.
Did you? But you didn't go out.
Well, no, we stayed at a
with your
local
mom.
pub.
I
We stayed at a local pub.
gotta show you. But then one of the workers.
What
got
I will
stuck
tell
in
you,
one.
what I will tell you about some of the pubs that you go to, the bathrooms stink.
'Cause there's pee everywhere.
It's not that they're just old and they're not efficient.
Oh, but it's like.
You see that's the part that a lot of you Yankees don't understand. Our buildings
He
are
just called us Yankees.
our buildings are so much. They
They're-
last a lot longer than buildings over here. Your buildings fall down after 30 years.
Oh, it looks like a manhole, and then it
Yeah.
pops up.
It pops up, but they stopped using
What?
them. I can't. What is the name of? What are the names of them, Lauren?
I don't know. Let me send you this link. I just thought you're talking about it, and I'm like, what? What does that look like? It's like a manhole popping up.
Yeah, and they pop
out
up
of the
at the end of the
ground.
night. But one of the workers got stuck in it, and so unfortunately.
So they were first installed in the Netherlands,
Yeah.
and in 2002 they were introduced in London.
Yeah. So this is what they look like, Steven. And they just pop up randomly, but
And
I wouldn't be in one.
they don't use them anymore. 'Cause,
As of 2014, There's 200 across Sweden,
I can't-
Belgium, Denmark,
I
the United
can't-
Kingdom,
I
and
can
the
understand
Netherlands.
them being in the Netherlands and Sweden and different things, but I could never understand them being in London. London's just too busy.
Well, apparently they're
They
in all
only-
these countries.
Yeah, but it's only at night. They only pop up at night because people kept peeing on the walls downtown.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so in the middle, like, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, they used to pop up.
But my opinion is, even if it's in the middle of the night and they're that drunk, they're not going to use them anyway. You know.
they can't use them anymore. So someone got stuck trying to work on it
Yeah.
in
It
the
says-
pop-up toilet,
Yeah, I see that here.
and so they don't pop up anymore. So now, they have to use pee-proof paint on the walls downtown. I thought it was funny. So they've just been putting like waterproof paint, so when somebody pees on the wall, it kind of splashes back, I guess, because the residents were complaining that
Right
their
back at you.
streets smelled like pee in the morning because everybody was getting so drunk and peeing on their walls. So, because pub culture is so heavy out there, right? They have all the pub crawls and things like that, which is cool.
It depends which city you go to, I think, a lot, in all fairness. If you go to a lot of the really working class towns,
Mm-hmm.
then I think it's more of the most town, there's 2 towns that are well known for a very, very dark side, if you want to. One is a city called Doncaster, and the other one is a city called Newcastle, Geordie, where they go out, have some beers on a Friday or a Saturday night. Their goal is to pick up some girls. If they can't pick up the girls, then they just want to get into a fight.
Sounds like a regular old American
Wow.
time. There's a show, you remember Jersey Shore? You guys remember the show
Mhm.
Jersey Shore? There's Geordie Shore, and that's the UK version. It's called Geordie Shore.
Jordan Shore.
There's if anybody wants to see it, go on YouTube. There is a show called Bouncers,
Mhm.
and that's basically bouncers on the doors who deal with all the crap that from some of the cities, and it's amazing how plastered some of these people get.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is.
But anyway, can we move on
Yeah.
to
Yep,
FTX
absolutely.
plans to return 90% of customer funds to its clients with FTX. Many of you know FTX was basically a Ponzi scheme, and they declared bankruptcy, and apparently it's just been released that they are looking at getting 90% of the funds back to their creditors' holdings held by the exchange before it went bust last November, which I think is fabulous news. It will formally file the plan by December the 16th, 2003 to a US bankruptcy court for perusal. But I really hope that's the case. FTX collapsed last year after CoinDesk published revelations concerning the state of its balance sheet. New CEO John Ray has berated financial controls at the company, while founder Sam Bankman-Fried is undergoing trial on criminal charges. I think Sam Bankman-Fried will end up going to federal court, but basically, which is a shame because he's a pretty young, smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad that if some of them owners get their money back, because it's retirements. It affects people in so many ways. Are they saving up for a house through crypto?
What's the catch, though? It said that there's a catch. What's the catch to it?
I don't really know, to be perfectly honest. I think it depends on how the Chapter 11. The proposed stated that customers with a preference statement amount of less than 250,000 can accept the statement without any reduction of claim or payment. Preference settlement is 15% of customary withdrawals on the exchange 9 days before it went under.
Is the catch that it may not reflect the fair value of it.
Right, that's what I think it
I
is.
think that's what the catch
that's
is.
what the catch is. They're not going to get what the fair value is, especially if it's gone up even since then,
Yeah, that's
Mm.
true.
you know. But at least they're getting something back.
Yeah, but
That's-
I don't think it's a shame that Sam Bankman-Fried is going to jail.
No, I don't either, but the truth of the matter is, and I really think that it's the same with Bitcoin, and people say about Ethereum. I used to be all over Bitcoin and Ethereum, but I really think it's a Ponzi scheme. Because the more people buy it, the more the price goes up. Like today, the price has gone up to 28,000.
Yeah.
You know, I sold all mine recently. I lost quite a bit of money on it, but that's why I decided, you know what, I'd rather stay with something that I know. I'm just going to go out and buy another investment house.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's it was really big in 2021, 2022 that a bunch of influencers, you know, they were doing pump and dumps to where, you know, somebody would be like, you and I, Steven, like create a coin or some type of cryptocurrency, and then we're like, Laura, go tell everybody about it. You got a bunch of followers. All of Laura's followers go and they start purchasing it, and then Laura, you know, obviously the price goes up, and then immediately after everybody starts buying it, Laura sells all of her shares because she made, you know, $100,000 on
But it
it.
was like the ape coin.
Like,
You know, the ape people were just making their own coins up and selling.
yeah, that's what I mean. So that's what people were doing. They were pumping and dumping. They were getting their followers, like all the influencers and stuff. They were getting their followers to buy the coin, and of course the coin goes up, and then they sold their amount, and then what happens? The coin crashes.
Yeah.
And so that's what everybody started doing, and a lot of people lost money on that, just by doing that. Yeah, that's why with Dogecoin, I have a friend who invested in Dogecoin because Elon Musk was like, oh, you know, Doge to the moon, invest in Doge.
Yeah.
He bought maybe like $600-$700 worth of it, and it was doing really well. And then Elon Musk went on SNL, and what happened? That crashed, and he's like, I can't even pull my money out because he's like, now it's worth $200, and they spent
I
so
bought
much money.
I bought about $500 worth of Shiba Inu, and now it's worth maybe $200, $250.
Yeah, and it's funny because Shiba coin just went up, like a couple days ago, but now it's back down. So it's so bad. I don't know. I feel bad for people who invest.
Do you know what I look back on? Is what Warren Buffett said when all these coins come out. Warren Buffett said he can't see how there's any value in the coin because there's no company to back it up at the end of the day. It's basically a virtual coin.
Yep.
Yeah.
How do you give it a true
Regularize
value?
it.
You can only give it a value on the supply and the demand. And he said there'll be a time when the supply will outweigh the demand, and at that point he said it'll crash. And have a guess what?
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I just wanted to show you guys this before we end talking about it. Do you guys remember what NFTs were? The little like ape coin, or the little ape paintings like that you were talking about, Steven?
Yeah.
Look at how much they are worthless now. They are, because celebrities were spending $10,000-$20,000 on like.
There was a basketball player that wants to be paid in Bitcoin.
Oh, I don't know.
There was a famous basketball player that wanted to be paid in Bitcoin.
That's so dumb.
I mean, look.
But you remember these? People
Yeah,
were
absolutely.
spending $10,000, $20,000, $100,000 on them. Now they're worth nothing. And they didn't even, it's not like they even got the art. It was just a picture. They didn't even, because art sales are, the way to avoid taxes, to be honest.
It was Klay Thompson and Andre Iguodala. I don't know.
Klay Thompson? Really? What an idiot.
That wanted to be paid.
With the Golden State Warriors.
And he wants to be paid in Bitcoin.
There's two guys.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
You know, decided he wants to be paid in Bitcoin.
1 million in Bitcoin.
That is so dumb.
Anyway.
Why didn't he just invest his own money in the Bitcoin then? Like, he could have taken that million and just invested it in Bitcoin instead of getting paid.
Well, I think it's a little bit. It's like a trend, isn't it?
It is.
Mhm.
It's a trend at the end of the day. I mean, I only bought it because there was people around me saying Bitcoin, 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 and I ended up investing money, you know, in Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Spencer Dwindle with he used to be with the Nets in 2019, and then Klay Thompson did it in 2022, and so did Andre.
2022? That's
Yeah.
kind of dumb. So there was a guy, speaking of making money and losing money, there was a guy who owned Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has been around for a really long time. But it was
2005.
worth, it was worth what, like $10-$20 back then.
When it first came out, it was 50 cents.
Yeah, so some guy had 40-50 shares of Bitcoin, right? And in 2011 or something like that, 2015, he put on the internet, he was like, hey, if you buy me a pizza, I'll give you all my Bitcoin, or I'll give you 10 shares of my Bitcoin. And he did. If he wouldn't have done that, he would be a millionaire, because he had so much Bitcoin. But he would have been a millionaire if he didn't give away all of his Bitcoin
For a pizza.
A pizza for one
dear.
pizza.
Like
So,
Paul Pierce.
$365 million. $365 million is what his Bitcoin would have been worth if he, in 2010, is when he did
10,000 Bitcoins.
10,000, and in 2010 he gave it all away for a pizza.
Mm-mm.
Oh my god.
That's insane.
Enjoy the pizza is what I say. I hope it was good pizza.
But there's a lot of basketball players that join ventures with cryptocurrency, like LeBron James.
Yeah,
Says
he
here, Kevin Durant, Paul Pierce retired out of it. Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry was partnered with FTX.
Uh-oh.
So
Yeah, he was one of their spokesmen.
I think that, because that's what I was saying, like, there's so many influencers, because like you said,
Yeah.
it was a trend,
it's a trend.
and everybody was like, oh, let me get on Bitcoin.
Jump
but
on
then
board.
People were scamming like crazy. They would just immediately after just sell all of their stuff, and it's just like, that's so messed up. But I just thought that this was funny. Just $365 million.
I don't think it's funny, I think it's sad.
That's insane.
I mean, he did it himself though. He could have at least kept some, but he gave it all away. He did not want to keep any of it. So, and he said he
I
has
know
no
how
regrets.
he feels. I did that last week or the week before or whatever it was. Anyway, let's call that a wrap. I've got some stuff I've got to do. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, turn on notifications. We'd like to hear from you. You have any comments in the chat? Please place them comments in the chat. We'd really like to hear from you. I'd like to thank Kay for joining us this morning. We've got the Texas Real Estate Show tomorrow, which is at noon. But if you want to get hold of Laura, we can get hold of Laura. And how do you get hold of Laura, the Texas lady?
Laura, lspmortgage.com or social media.
And your phone number?
Oh, 832-274-9841.
Okay. If you want to contact anybody through Century 21, you can contact us through social media at C21 Olympian TX on most social media platforms. We're on LinkedIn, we are on Facebook and all the other great platforms out there. So look forward to seeing you tomorrow, or if not, we'll see you next week around 10:30. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Stay healthy.
He's lying. It's 12.
And enjoy. All right. Bye-bye.